Thank you. Yeah, so as I said, yeah, thank you very much for having me today. And also thank you to Gul for hosting Tracr here this week as well. Very delighted to be here. So I'm going to give you a very quick whirlwind tour through Tracr, which is a blockchain platform for the diamond industry, for tracing diamonds from mine to finger. Very quickly about me, I'm Chief Operating Officer at Tracr. I've been there 5 years, and I came from a background in analytics and maths, but transitioned into the diamond industry 5 years ago, excited by the opportunity that traceability and supply chain ethical sourcing presented. So why create a blockchain? You've probably heard of some of these solutions out there. We're not the only one. There are a few different solutions for supply chain traceability. And the question, I guess, is why bother? And does anyone care about it? I think to give you a quick picture of the origin of the traceability, we are fully funded by De Beers. And De Beers has had a commitment for many years now to look after the societies that it serves and to ensure that it's benefiting the communities on the way through the supply chain are benefiting all the way through. So they've signed up to a lot of the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And as part of that, one of the commitments they made was to, by 2030, meet a number of commitments, one of which was to provide the origin and journey of all De Beers diamonds. They were doing a piece of innovation work around where they could innovate an industry, and Tracr was the kind of solution that came out for how they could go about this. At the same time, they recognized that the industry as a whole would need a solution for tracing diamonds. And so the ambition of Tracr has always been to provide traceability for diamonds for De Beers, but also for the wider industry. If we look at consumer demand, so that's the kind of why we felt that it was important to demonstrate that we could contribute to societies. It's also, we're seeing apparent in consumer demand that there's increasing demand for provenance. So I think the latest research suggests that 58% of consumers globally are interested in understanding that their diamonds have been sourced in a responsible and sustainable way. And that carries through to traditionally less interested markets in Asia and also across the globe. If you look at the younger generations, we're also starting to see that's not just impacting preference, but also buying decisions. So it's quite important for us to recognize that's increasingly going to be something we need to demonstrate in store. So if we look at tracing diamonds, at first you might think it's quite simple to do. So we're just going to record information from the mine and at the producer and all the way down to the retailer. Well, actually, when you look at the ecosystem, it's actually quite hard. So the diamond industry is a very interconnected and a bit of a web of trading relationships. So everything from the mines to the JVs where diamonds get shared around across JVs and different commercial relationships, the sorting operations, the sales and auction operations, and then you go into a web of producers, wholesalers, dealers, retailers, and even within manufacturers, you might see multiple geographies with diamonds moved between contractors and subcontractors in different parts of the manufacturing chain. So what we have is a very, very complex supply chain, and we needed a way that's really achievable to do it. And I think the naivety we had at the beginning of the process was to think that we could solve everything with technology, that we could scan at every point on the whole chain. People would be sending us scans, almost every day, every time the diamond moved. Well, we quickly realized that wasn't going to work when we looked at Tracr. And about a year in, we realized we had to kind of simplify the way we were doing things to make it practical for the industry. So that's kind of where we've headed with it. I'll try and describe a little bit without going into too much science, given we're trying to be fairly brief, and I'll try and give you a flavor of how we do it. But essentially what we're going to do is just collect a minimum amount of information at the key steps in the manufacturing process so that we can have a very, very good understanding of where the diamonds come from. Now, the recognition is we're never going to get to 100%, but what we're trying to take it from is a situation where maybe you have paperwork and declarative solutions which are maybe 10% confident of the source of a diamond to maybe 95% and get close to scientific certainty. So how are we going to do that? The first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a digital twin of the diamond at the point of mining, or as close to as we can. Now, in practice, diamonds are not sorted and they're not cleaned early on. But at the first point of sorting and cleaning, we're going to try and take a scan of each diamond. So at De Beers, what we've done is invested quite a lot in bulk scanning technology, where you can essentially drop a large packet of stones in and scan them from all directions and create a very accurate 3D scan at speed. We're then going to repeat that process as we go down the chain and collect a digital trail of information as we go through the whole supply chain. Now, that can be scanning information, it can be images, it can be receipts, it can be shipping numbers, but gradually we're creating an audit trail, and we're then going to store that on the blockchain. The other important thing about the way we're doing it and why we've invested so much in Tracr is it has to be entirely private. So the participants in the diamond supply chain are notoriously private, and it's a very commercially sensitive business. And so we couldn't have a central database where all the data is stored. So what we've done is created a separate copy of Tracr for every single participant in the supply chain, so they all have their copy of the data. And then when they transmit a diamond from one participant to another, for example, from a producer to a manufacturer, that copy of that diamond is going to move from one copy of Tracr to the other. It's going to be securely moved from one person to the other, and the record is going to go with it. So it's taken a lot of work to do that, and we've done quite a lot of work. I mean, I think it was founded in 2017, so it's taken a long time to get to where we are today. And I'll give you a few stats in a minute, but maybe first we'll just show you kind of what we do with that information and how we can present it to retail.
With Tracr, you can view all of your registered diamonds and inspect their details. Using the new Tracr Diamond Experience, you can showcase your Tracr natural diamonds. Explore the diamond's provenance. Educate consumers about how and where diamonds are recovered. Highlight the craftsmanship involved in taking the diamond from rough to polished. View your diamond's brilliance through grading. Tell sustainability, social impact, and environmental stories. Tracr, the future of diamond traceability.
So hopefully that gave you a little flavor, and it's a bit slicker than it would be me describing it. So that's kind of what we're doing with the information. We're trying to present it in a way which is engaging and interesting for the consumer. I suppose the art form with presenting this information is we want to mix the science with still a little bit of a warmth and storytelling around it, get the right balance of kind of scientific certainty, but also provide something that's kind of engaging to look at and doesn't just look like a sort of list of proof points. That information is available via an API, so retailers can pull that information out and use it how they want. And we're also integrating with marketplaces, graders, and various other kind of participants in the industry, so you can share that information around seamlessly to different participants. Just in terms of where we've got to today, as I said, we've been at it quite a long time. It's actually 1.8 million diamonds at rough on the platform today, and 200,000 polished diamonds. So we're starting to get a lot of upstream diamonds, and there's growing volume of diamonds available downstream. We have 36 site holders on the platform, primarily De Beers site holders, but there are a couple of other participants, and we're starting to move beyond that now. And each site month at De Beers, so we sell the diamonds 10 times a year. We're capturing around 64% of the diamonds by value. So we've started with the bigger diamonds, and we're working our way down as we get more scanning capacity. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Things we'd like to do next. As I've said, we're integrating with graders. We're going to do more integrations. We've provided an API where marketplaces can connect to tracers, so Rapnex and Uni and IDEX, et cetera, can suck diamonds out and display the traceability information. We're going to be doing more of these, encouraging more volume downstream, doing more of these kind of events to try and get the word out there and try and get the availability of traceability at consumer increased. Then we're going to kind of continue to onboard more wholesalers midstream. And then very importantly, through the next year, working very hard to bring other producers, so non-De Beers production onto the platform. So that's kind of where we're at. That's the whistle-stop tour of Tracr. We're very excited and passionate about what we do. We really believe in telling the story of natural diamonds. There are obviously, as we know, a lot of challenges out there for the industry right now. But we think this is one of the solutions and part of the solution for creating a sustainable demand for natural diamonds as we go forward. So that's it from me. I think welcome you to ask me some questions. Thank you for sticking around. I said it's the graveyard shift, but yeah, thanks.